Coming up on today's podcast, Hannah blows everybody's mind by telling us the inner workings of the Olympics.
And Lizzie gets to grips with all the Olympic lingo.
And we interview our new boss and ask him the age-old question, who do you prefer, Lizzie or Hannah? Hello and welcome to the 14th episode of the Lincolnshire Buzzcast with me, Lizzie, and...
me, Hannah.
We are still missing Danny, although he is due back soon, I believe, isn't he? He's due back soon.
Yeah, he's got some annual leave to take and then he'll be coming back refreshed and revitalised.
Oh, we're letting him go on holiday?
Well, he's not going anywhere, is it? COVID and all that lark. He's only had one job, bless him, because he's a young un.
He can go to a campsite, can't he? Can you go to a camp? He can stay in England.
Yeah, he can stay in England. He can do a staycation.
I'm going camping next week. I'm very excited about that.
Are you? Where are you going?
Whitby, although it was before staycations were popular, because as a kid that's sort of all I did. We only ever went camping. That was sort of our holiday. I think we went to France as like a treat when we was much older, but that was about it. Yeah, so we're going at this weekend actually, but we're going with a bunch of friends as well. So it's sort of a group friend, but ones with kids as well. So it's like we'll be going out and the kids can play. It's rather like my holidays as a kid. What's actually quite good is I'm going with. My big brother is in my friendship group, so he's going to be there, and his friend Lewis went on the ones that I was for a kid because our parents were like friends. So it's with the next generation. So now with the kids of the things going as friends, and our kids are now playing together. So that's kind of cool, isn't it?
Are the kids playing together, or are they forcefully playing? I know my mum and dad are your mum and dad's friends.
Well, no, because we have two. So mine and Lewis's his firstborn and Harry are the same age, so they do play together and play together really well.
Oh, good.
And then obviously my brother and my kids are cousins, so they
have to play together.
They have to like each other. It's a family obligation. So yeah, for me, staycations are holidays. I very rarely go abroad anyway, because I'm poor and can't afford to. And plus, it's quite nice to see the countryside and stuff. Well, see England. Not that Whitby's that far. Yeah. but yeah, it's just quite nice to go out and do that. I think I've got some great memories of as a kid waking up and just hearing the sound of the whistling kettle go and smelling the beans cooking. I think that was for me. That's a holiday. So
I love camping. Yeah, we're going camping end of August as well. So
see,
yeah, vacationing. That's what life is all about right now.
So what's happening in not only Lincolnshire actually, but the world, and certainly in the world of sport, is the Olympics. Have you been watching, Hannah?
I have. Well, in between working and other things, yes. I tend to do the BBC iPlayer catch-up on the morning, sort of sit while I'm having my breakfast, getting ready for work and stuff, and watch that just sort of quick, because it's weird times, isn't it? Their scheduling's a little bit off. I'm not sure, because I know the swimmers have been moaning quite a bit. No, it's not because of their time difference or whatever it is.
Oh, I thought it was just time difference. I was going to say, yeah, it's off because it's the other side of the world.
No, the swimmers usually swimming, the heats are done in the morning, and then the semi-final or final are either done that night or the night after. But all the races are much slower. The times are much slower because they're actually doing the finals in the morning.
Oh, yeah, because that's what you want to do. You want to wake up and do a final,
So
biggest day of my life.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of the swimmers are saying that they're obviously swimming a lot slower because they're not getting the proper preparation, and it's just a bit skew whiff for their timings and stuff because they're so used to doing finals in an evening. Yeah, so yeah, I watched. Spoiler alert: Adam Peaty win his gold medal in the 100-meter.
If you don't know that by now, then you obviously weren't watching anyway. So
yeah. 100-meter breaststroke. So good though, because he's the first British male swimmer to win two gold medals back to back at Olympics.
which is amazing. I think it's yeah, because obviously there is the time difference, so it is on like in the middle of the night, and then like there's a bit to watch in the morning. So I was watching a bit this morning as I was getting ready, and saw Tom Daley and I forgot his name win the gold. The young lad from Leeds, I can't remember his name, but it was a young lad from Leeds. It was his first Olympics.
What's his name? Let me search it.
But it was just it was amazing. It was fantastic to see.
Yeah,
Matty Lee, yeah, he needs his name out there. I mean, that's. I think, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. I guess that it's not that I didn't know it was going to be different, because there is that time zone and stuff, and every sort of place in the world needs to have their time in the sun. Yeah. I was sort of looking forward to, after having like the Euros and having the whole world like way and really like into it, I was sort of looking forward to having that again, like with the Olympics. But I think it's fallen a bit flat on his face a little bit, because we're a little bit disconnected from the time zone, which is a shame, because it's just nice to watch it live. What's your favourite event to watch?
Well, I am a swimming fan, but whilst we're giving shout outs, I need to give a shout out to local boy Max Litchfield, born and bred in Pontefract, was actually at the college that I taught at, part of my A2 class. Bit of a shout out. You say local
boy, but you mean local to you, don't
local
you?
To me, local
this
to
is a Lincolnshire buzzcast, remember?
Yeah.
So it's not local to Lincolnshire.
No, not local to Lincolnshire. Local to me. Went to the college that I taught at. Was part of my A2 PE class.
That's amazing.
Real good lad. Like, massive shout out to Max. He came fourth in the 400 IM, which, not the position that you want to get, but nevertheless, absolutely fantastic to be the fourth best individual medley swimmer in the world.
When you say original, it's not where he wants to be and stuff like that. But you know, it's still a pretty big achievement.
It is huge achievement from the days when he used to compete in the AOC swimming championships for us at college and absolutely annihilate people. So massive shout out and bravo to Max for doing it for Ponty.
Well, I've just had a quick look as well to see who we've got from representing Lincolnshire, and not run yet, because obviously we've not got to the athletics bit, but Sam Atkin is our Lincolnshire hope. He is the 10,000 metre race he's doing, and he's from Grimsby.
Oh, right.
So Sam Atkin, I think there's more actually. Sam Atkin was the first I've looked about, because he's got something in the old Lincolnite about his appearance and people wishing him well and stuff. So Sam Atkin is definitely one that we all need to cheer on, because he's doing it for the old Lincolnshire. Because yes, Grimsby is part of Lincolnshire. Those of you who might disagree. And more to come. I'll find out if there's more and I'll let you know. But we're cheering on all of Team GB. The Olympics, because it brings Britain back together again. Like, as much as I love the Euros and love football and absolutely love that whole the whole buzz around England being in the final, I didn't like the sort of split that we had as a Britain in terms of pitting England and Wales and England and Scotland against each other. So I'm happy that we're back reformed for Team GB, so we can all start cheering people on together.
100% that the Olympics is the best sporting event. Like, as much as I love Euros, I love World Cup, I love Wimbledon, the Olympics is what you live for it, because you get to see different sports that you wouldn't usually watch. Taekwondo? What's that?
You're learning things as well. So I was watching the diving, and I can't remember what they were saying. They just start using all the terms and stuff like that, and you start to learn it. Like, so when you watch them, you're like, oh yeah, you did drop a point there. So like, there was a whole like thing, because I was started off watching thinking I thought that was all right, but then like if they slightly cock their leg back as they jump in, then it gives a bit of a down splash as they splash away out. So you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't so good, that one.
Over rotation and all that jazz.
Yeah. You start to become a little bit of next bit. Oh, that rotation wasn't quite good. Like, all of a sudden, you are like the world's best sporting commentator just in that short amount of time. So I think that's what I really like about the Olympics, because you learn stuff that you didn't quite know before, and then people do start picking up. To start doing more things. I think when we start, when swimming's on and things like that, you noticeably know that your leisure centre is a bit more crowded. because people are like, I could do that.
Yes.
or they're like, oh yeah, maybe I could have a go, and that kind of stuff. So you notice that people do start picking these things up again. So because it's like around the time of swimming, that's when leisure centres will be a bit busier. But then when you get into like badminton and all that kind of stuff, and the running, you're going to see more people out running and all that kind of thing, which is great. It's amazing because it does inspire people.
It certainly
which is the point.
Yes, it is.
And similarly for Paralympics, which will shortly follow it, like I do look forward to that. I think that's been amazing. I think it's been nice to see the journey, actually, because people didn't used to watch the Paralympics. It was sort of like they watched the Olympic, and then Channel 4 did that amazing like media coverage about it, and referring to them as the superhumans, and obviously the last leg that have really helped sort of like push Paralympics up, which is fantastic because now they are like being treated like the heroes that they are, really. So they need that media coverage, and they need that focus. So it's great to see that as well. So I do hope that everyone still carries that forward and watches the Tokyo Paralympics, because it'd be great.
Definitely. Have you watched, it's on BBC iPlayer, called Gold Rush, and it's our progress in terms of Britain's progress in the Olympics. So from those people or listeners who remember Atlanta in 1996, when we famously bombed out of the Olympics, let's be honest. I think we came something like 36th or something daft in medal table. And the powers that be went, this is not good enough. Yeah, we know. And sort of tried to turn it around and came at it with a different approach. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's not sort of been into sport and followed it and stuff like that, but all the different approaches that they took to get us to London 2012 and the fantastic medal haul that we got in London 2012. And just watching that and watching the athletes talk from sort of 1996, and even people like Mo Farah, who they obviously didn't compete in 1996, but then that was an influence on them wanting to get involved, because they were like, wow, I've seen other people, and not necessarily British people, but seeing other people do amazing things in the Olympics, and then going, right, that's it, I want to do that. And it really inspired that 2012 generation to come forward. You know, even Ellie Simmons, you know, she was saying, it's just reminded me when you were saying about Paralympics, but she was saying things like, back then in 1996, you could count on one hand how many people were in crowd at the Paralympics.
Considering how much stuff goes, like these people, these athletes, to prep for it. It's not just a case that they've they do a little bit in the day and they just rock up and stuff like that. There's heats and stuff like that to even get to the point where they get to go to the Olympics. But it's basically the whole life, isn't it? You know, they eat, sleep, train every single day just so we can watch them on TV and be proud of Britain again. Like it's you know, the amount of actual physical and mental pressure they put themselves under. Like, and to do that and then only have 5 people in the crowd cheering on, and realistically those 5 people are probably their mums and
their parents
cheering them on anyway. That must have been really downhearting. So it's quite nice to think that now that they get there and they get absolutely so cheered, because even though it's in Tokyo, watching the diving this morning, there was people there like screaming and cheering them on and that kind of stuff. That was it was amazing. And these athletes now are celebrities in their own right, as they should be. So you know like Beth Twiddle then went and did Dance on Ice.
Yeah, well, she's done loads of stuff, hasn't she? I think Beth. She's
and then she was commentating on the gymnastics today as well. So.
Good lass.
She has become a celebrity in her own right, and quite rightly too, because she did so amazing, for Britain.
So many years as well, like to keep at that Olympic level for so many years in gymnastics. You know, hats off to her, because that, I'm not saying that gymnastics is a better sport than anything else or anything. I mean, I am.
You would say that, though.
Partial to a bit of gymnastics. But, you know, we all know that gymnasts, if you get to 18 and you've not made it, it's like, poof, off you go, you're retiring. Whereas for Beth to be at her age when she won her medal is like, wow, unheard of.
I know it is fantastic to see, and it's great that these athletes are getting that celebrity status, because they're the role models that our children need and that people do need, because they are out there and they're achieving something amazing, and they've got a healthier lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So it's great to see, and it's great to see that it can happen at such a young age. I think Johnny told me there was a kid about the age of 13 that won a skateboarding medal. I was thinking, wow, 13 and you've won an Olympic medal. That's insane. Can you imagine?
Oh God, what was
my
the other
daughter's
one?
13 and she's literally sat in a room chatting on her phone. I cannot imagine her competing in the Olympics, but like, could you imagine?
So there's the skateboarder, and then there's another younger lass as well.
I was also quite amazed because I didn't realise that skateboarding was an Olympic sport. So that's
It's a new one this year. One of the ones added to the list this year. Skateboarding. I mean, I'm not sure. I know the Olympic Games has got to go with the times, and it is the modern Olympic Games, and
I think it's not like they're just sort of there is an awful lot of skill in skateboarding. Like I know it's something you wouldn't know it if you sat and watched your local skate park, but I'm assuming at the Olympic level it's slightly different because they've got to. It's basically gymnastics on a moving board.
Yes, but when you also so skateboarding, I mean it's quite a niche sport, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Particularly at elite level, it's not something that's in the news and things like that. But when you consider that skateboarding is now an Olympic sport, and netball isn't an Olympic sport. Why? No.
Isn't it?
Netball missed out on being an Olympic sport this year. It tried and entered, and it missed out.
I love how you've made it sound like it's a person. Like it came in and it rocked up with all its balls. Like.
But it didn't. Netball did not get through the first cut because I think, 10, 12 sports every year. Well, every cycle bid to be part of the Olympic movement or whatever, and they get cut down and cut down and cut down until they enter however many new sports they put in for each Olympic cycle. And netball didn't get through the first round. They
have the chance to get back in there, don't they?
They can keep reapplying, so they'll reapply for 2024 and see if they can get in again. But I just think netball is a little bit more mainstream. I'd like to know why netball. So listeners, if anybody knows why netball didn't get in, but skateboarding did, please do let us know.
You're not denying that skateboarding should be there. You're just denying it should be there over netball.
Yeah. I think, like I said, the Olympic Games has to move with the times. But when there are already well-established, high-profile sports that are not getting in, why not? Because netball
I didn't know that. Like that is news to me, and I imagine news to a lot of people as well. I didn't know that we lost sports like along the way. I wonder what else we've lost that I've not realised.
Yeah, there's loads of sports that apply.
Hockey's in. I'm sure hockey's in today, wasn't it?
Were it last Olympics or the Olympics before that golf got in? And they'd applied loads and they finally got in. It constantly is evolving and picking up new sports. I'm just questioning why skateboarding and surfing is there, but netball isn't. Netball is the staple.
It picks up another, like a younger generation though, isn't it? I guess if you think about Olympics and actually, like what we spoke about before, is it influencing people to do sport more or do that kind of thing? I think if you're the younger generation and you quite like skateboarding and then you actually see it on the TV, you see that 13-year-old go and win that medal and something like that, that's going to be a huge like driver for you to get out there and get active and stuff. Whereas, now I say this tentatively, netball's not really very popular anymore.
No, but it's still part of the national curriculum.
It is, yes, but that's what I mean.
You're not helping us PE teachers by saying, you're not an Olympic sport.
What I mean is kids associate with the fact that they're forced to play it in their PE lessons, whereas skateboarding is a hobby. So I think if you think
exactly.
about...
It's a hobby. It's not a sport.
Well, it is now.
I know.
But it is, because I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming it wasn't just them watching a kid like skateboard down a track and be like, "Whoa," and maybe have some abuse at a passing by. Like I imagine there was tricks and stunts.
Yes, there is. And I mean, I can totally see why it's in there, because if you look at the Winter Olympic Games and you've got slope style and free skiing and that kind of snowboarding, darling, because it's on one, it's a tray, it's not two sticks.
Yeah, but what I mean is there's skiing the Winter Olympics, isn't there? So they jump off stuff and they get like trick points for jumping. Yeah,
there's all the freestyle stuff and there's a slope style for snowboarding and stuff. So I understand why it's there, because obviously slope style and half pipe and stuff has been there for a good few Olympics now. So probably 12 years maybe that stuff's been in the Winter Olympics. And we've not really had anything like that in the Summer Olympics. So I can understand why it's there. I just don't understand why it's been put there over something like netball, which a lot of people can get on board with.
Because skateboarding's more popular now. Anyway.
But it shouldn't be.
So can you lose any sport? So, for instance, could you lose track?
No, well, they're not going to take track out, are they? That is the Olympics.
You didn't think they were going to take netball out? So.
No, well, they haven't taken netball out. It's never been in.
It's never been in? Really?
Never been in.
Never?
Yeah, no. You have to apply to be in.
But then they must take some out to get the new ones in, obviously.
No, I don't think they do. Let's have a look. So, discontinued. Yes, they have. So, dropped by the IOC in 2005 is baseball and softball. Karate. Squash.
I didn't
know.
Wrestling I did know was an Olympic sport, so I didn't know squash was. Wrestling's kind of sad. Yeah,
wrestling's been dropped for the 2020 Olympics, which is this year's, because we don't we've lost a year. Yeah, see, they can drop sports and then add a new sport.
Because I'm assuming they could then drop skateboarding next year, like.
I don't know if there's maybe a set period of time. We're getting into politics of it here, mate, but I'm not sure whether there's...
Yeah, but my mind has been blown. I didn't realise there was this whole world where you could do things and not do things. I'm really worried about curling in the Winter Olympics now.
They're not going to take curling out. They can't take curling out. No.
What if they do?
Then I'm boycotting the Winter Olympics. Simple. I live for downhill skiing and curling. The end.
It's so much fun. I remember the first time when I watched that, and I remember thinking, what is happening? Like, what is this? But
I remember that.
So into it.
Yeah.
I think I worked at a dog rescue like a couple of years ago, and we even got on board with it when we did that and tried to do a thing where we delivered the food bowl to the dog and swept in between, so it arrived in him as a thing that we'd done on social media, which was so much fun. But I love watching curling, and I mean, who invented that? Who was sat there thinking, I've got an idea.
Yeah, let's throw some rocks down some ice and chase them.
And then we'll make it go faster by sweeping in front of it.
I love it. I remember the first time I watched curling, and it was by accident, because as with all Olympic broadcasting, they never get the times right, and you switch on thinking that you're going to watch something exciting, and they've got something really, really boring on. And this happened. I was waiting for, it was Turin 2006. And I was,
memory.
Oh, of course, mate. It's my job. And I was waiting for the Olympic downhill because I wanted to watch Bodie Miller absolutely smash it. And the curling had run over, and the curling was on. And I remember thinking, oh, God, what is this? And then before I knew it, I'd eaten a full pack of Doritos and was absolutely gobsmacked watching it, thinking, this is so good. Oh my God, it's so tense. Oh my word. And I'm sure it was Canada and Great Britain or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And I started understanding we're going to switch ends, and then this is going to, I was using alt lingo, like you were saying, picking it up, thinking, oh my God. And I was addicted to it, and I had to watch it, and I watched both men's and women's because I was I don't care whether it's men or women. I just want to watch curling.
I think it helped as well that Britain were actually good at it.
Yes, super good at it.
We are good at this.
And I think, did the men win? Did the men win in
the women
2006?
The women definitely won on one of them.
I mean, I'm that sad. I actually know the name of the captain of the men's team. That was David Murdoch that year.
You're blown away with the memories.
I love Olympics. Like, I am absolute Olympic geek. I know all kinds of Olympic randomness.
Amazing. Well, on that, I guess that train of thought of inventing a new sport.
Yes.
We have an exciting guest in. I think we teased this out last week, so it's very exciting to see. But we are about to interview our new boss. And as part of that, you ask him to invent a new sport, thus the link.
Yes, well done.
Let's get him on. And today we've got with us Martin Hickerton, and we did actually tease this out, didn't we, in the last podcast, didn't we? So Martin is our CEO. So you're in for a treat, listeners, because you're about to watch me and Hannah attempt to impress our new boss whilst also be entertaining. So it's a tricky line, but we're going to balance it together, aren't we?
Always our jobs.
You might actually notice that this sounds a little bit different as well. I don't know if you know, but there's been a pandemic. So we have been recording this remotely. This is the first podcast that we've ever actually recorded in the flesh, in face-to-face. So it'll sound a little bit different. I'm hoping it sounds better. But also, there's no lag. It's very exciting. And it might have a different stage of flow of questions as well, so that'd be really good.
Well, we tried it the other day, didn't we? To do virtually, and my broadband was so bad. It was like a 4-second delay. It just was painful for everybody involved.
Awkward silence.
Me and Hannah have been hilarious, but the laugh only came up like 10 minutes later. So we've got a lot of questions for Martin today, which is very exciting. Some that me and Hannah have devised ourselves in some sort of interesting way to get to know Martin. And also some that we've asked people to send in. So we've asked on the newsletter, we asked on the podcast, we have asked on social media. And people have sent in their question in their droves, /7 people. But they asked some really good questions, so we're really excited about them. Are you ready, Martin?
I am ready. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so first things first. This is a question from Colin, and Colin wanted to know, Martin, what football team do you really support? And he's put really in capital letters, so I think there's maybe some doubt that you support Lincoln. Which,
yeah, the emphasis really is on really, though, isn't it?
Really support.
Colin, so I really support Lincoln City. I first came to a game, Barnet, at home. We won 4-1. I thought it would be like that every week. Turns out it wasn't, because the next 2 games we drew 0-0 back in the early 90s, back in the days of Jason Lee, etc. But yeah, I come to watch Lincoln regularly. I've brought my daughters along. But if Colin knows, I don't know if he's got access to old photographs of me when I was a kid, because actually when you were little in Lincoln, you normally had a big club as well. I don't know if you had.
Yeah.
And I used to have like a Liverpool kit I used to wear when I was about 8. And there are photos of that, but I've never really broadcast it. I wouldn't say I'm a Liverpool fan, but you know, you've still got sometimes a soft spot.
I mean, we do broadcast that, to be fair, because I think you can, as long as they're not in the same league, I think it's okay. And when they get into the same league that it's a bit different. It's maybe a good thing that Danny's not returned to this podcast yet, because he's a Man United fan and we don't like to let him.
But also, I'm massively into cricket as well.
Okay.
And I used to go regularly to Nottingham Panthers ice hockey. So maybe Colin's referring to that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's seen you in them matches.
Yeah.
He wants you to talk about that. It's about time we stopped talking about Lincoln.
Next time, listeners.
This question came from Liam from St Bank, and Liam wants to know, what excites you most about the next 12 months at Lincoln City Foundation?
Well, that's a really good question. I think we had a team day today, and that's why we're all together for the first time in ages. And it was just so exciting hearing about the different projects that have been going on. From the education, with students coming in, degree level, BTEC level, the stuff for the community. I mean, I was just in the community garden yesterday, looking at these beautiful wildflowers with bees flying around and just little things.
It's idyllic.
Yeah, it's like looking at the future. It's the impact we can have ultimately. I just think there's so many things we can do, and it's so needed right now, post-pandemic. There's a lot of support that this community and this region needs, and we're here to help. So that's the most exciting thing.
That's a great answer.
It is. That's a solid answer.
This next question is sort of for both Hannah and mine.
I thought I was getting away with questions.
So I feel like you can both jump into this one. This came in anonymously, actually, so I don't know who this is from. It was quite impassioned about it. And this person would like to know more about education at Lincoln City Foundation, in particular, what subjects that they can study with us.
Well, shall I give my overview that I've learned in my first few weeks? Because I won't know the detail, and Hannah can do that a bit. She can pick up. But I know that we have our BTEC students here, and basically that's instead of an A-level or equivalent, and it's for those people who want to get into something that's got a bit more of a sporty aspect to it as well. And the sporty aspect to it is something around that are not going to get anywhere else. The chance to play on the pitch at Sinsel Bank alongside their studies. But it's not just the BTEC, we also have degree level study going on as well, with I think about 6 or 7 degree students in the next intake, and they also study on that sports sort of approach, don't they? But over to Hannah. She's looking at me as if to say, come on, Martin,
Hannah's going to get the jazz hands out now, as I always say, don't we? Come on, you put the jazz hands out.
The jazz hands. So we offer BTEC Level 3 Extended Diploma in Sport, which is, as Martin said, equivalent to 3 A-levels, and it is that alternative to if somebody doesn't want to go to post-16 college or something like that, or they don't want to stay at school in their sixth form, we offer the environment that is a professional football club. So we have that banter with students, and we treat them like they're working for a professional football club. So they follow the code of conduct that we have to follow as staff, and they can call us out for not being respectful, they can call us out for not being adaptable, which is all our values and behaviours. And just being part of a professional football club, they get such an experience in terms of work placement. And we've talked about it being a try before you buy, because it's really, really important to know what you don't like as well as what you do like. So you might go on a work placement and think, do you know what, actually marketing's not for me, sports marketing isn't my thing.
Who would think that marketing is not for them, it's for everyone? I know.
But then on the other side, they might also come into us and go, do you know what, I definitely 100% want to be a PE teacher when I get older. And they go into PE teaching in a secondary school and realise, oh, that's not for me either. But then we have so many other opportunities because we're part of a professional football club that they can take part in, have a go at, and try before you buy. And then
traineeships as well, haven't we?
Traineeships, we have all kinds of employability stuff that goes on. And then we also have the NCS programmes that Jasmine runs. So lots and lots of stuff going on for everyone to get involved with, not just the 16 to 19 year olds, because the traineeships are open to, I think, is it
25?
25, the traineeships are open. So we look at the person as a holistic person. We don't just look at the academics, we don't just look at the practical side of things. We look at the softer skills as well, developing communication skills, and simple things like, how do you apply for a passport? How do you open a bank account? We teach our students that, because when you get into the big wide world, sometimes that's the time when you go off to uni and you go, oh my word, how do I do that? How do I sort my rent out? That kind of stuff. And that's all the stuff that we do across our programmes, as well as on the degree programme that we run as well, which is in partnership with the University of South Wales. So it's 2 for the price of 1 there. You get us and you get University of South Wales.
And it's like you've been waiting to give that answer for so long. We don't really necessarily always talk about that on the podcast because you were interviewing other people. So it's like you've been sat here like the whole time, like, someone ask me.
What is education all about?
And she's still doing the jazz hands.
I feel like they've translated in an audible fashion.
Oh,
but
good.
so that's good. But we don't know who you are because you've submitted that question anonymously. But thanks from, I guess, Hannah, definitely. She's been having that. She's stored that up for a while, haven't you? So Sham also messaged us, and Sham would like to know, Martin, what is your past experience and how will it help you more in this role?
Oh, well, yeah, I grew up in Lincoln and I went to university and eventually I came back to Lincoln, and along the way I did work in a lot of different industries, but I think they've all been really complementary. I've been really lucky actually. So I worked at the Minster School for a little bit after I left uni, so I've got a bit of education background there, but then went into recruiting graduates in London into big companies, so Sainsbury's, Aviva, Transport for London.
Oh, you've just dropped a load of names there. Shall I pick them up for you?
Yeah. Just to put it in context. There's more of that. And I really enjoyed the recruitment, but ultimately it led me into employability. So recruiting people into work who've maybe been out of work for a long time. And I was an operations manager looking after contracts where the Department of Work and Pensions would say, here's funding if you can help these people into work and stay in work. So I've managed teams of people who would do that. So it's health and wellbeing teams, employability coaches. We did sports programmes. We were in Lincoln with Olivier Bernard, who used to play for Newcastle. And it was just really, really exciting.
That was a better name. Have you got any more?
Olivier Bernard. Other French footballers are available. And it was just fantastic. And following that though, I went to work at the University of Lincoln. And that's where I was just until recently. So I worked in the business school and it was really different. It was partnership work. It was kind of academic, which I think I carry with me still. The team already know that. But it was about business development and growing things. And I suddenly thought the opportunity to do something real purpose again with employability, education and growth. I was thinking like, wow, when this job came up, it was like, that's it. And it's at Lincoln, who I really support, Colin.
Really?
So it was like the icing on the cake, really. So I hope those experiences put me in a position where I can add value to the team pretty quickly, hopefully.
Fantastic, great answer. So Will,
It's like Lizzie's judging your answers, scoring them out of 10.
do you know what? I'm going to go on a limb. I'm probably never going to go, that was a terrible answer.
No, you can just give me like a wink or something. We'll pause recording and stuff.
Will wants to know, a little bit more personal, I think, this one. How do you like to relax?
Oh, well, good question. Yeah, well, at the minute, I mean, it's really, really busy. We've just moved house, so I don't think I've got much time at all with new job, new house. What was I thinking? But I love running. That's my current thing. So I used to play a lot of cricket. I used to play football a lot, but these days I do a lot of running. So normally 3 times a week, get my trainers on. I try and do that during like lunch breaks as well to show hopefully a good example that you shouldn't just be at a desk all day every day.
Yeah.
Walking around, I love walking, chatting to people. I also play a bit of guitar. I promise you, I'm not going to David Brent it. I'm going to bring it in.
Oh, don't promise us that. That's what we want to see.
It's never happened before in my work. Nobody wants to see that. And it's that. And also my 2 daughters, I've got 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. My 2 daughters are both in the cathedral choir and genuinely relaxing in Lincoln. If you go up and listen to like an even song, it's amazing. So.
Wow. Well, I mean, we have a few musicians in the team, so I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility of bringing that guitar out, because you might find someone's ready to accompany you at any given shot.
Foundation band.
We need to get that going.
I'm not that good at it though, that's the problem.
Yeah, we're not. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Just a bit of fun, yeah. I think Jessica's pretty much ready to accompany anyone.
Oh, I think Jessica, she's like a semi-professional singer, isn't she? So I think she'll be ahead somewhere.
Yeah, and your ukulele will definitely go with it.
I've learned one song.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
No, I do want to learn that one because that's really good at the ukulele. But me and my daughter, it's one of the lockdown when I was on furlough, that kind of thing, that we thought, I'll do something with my time. Bought us both a ukulele, thought we'd have a nice, in my brain, it was going to be a nice mother-daughter bonding experience. I imagined us sit around here like harmonising with each other.
How did it
go? It's quite hard. We did learn George Ezra though. I can't remember which one. I can't remember which one. Shotgun, I think we learned Shotgun.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was so long ago because I haven't picked it back up again. That's always a bit flighty me. I've tried to write a book at some point as well, and that's not worked out either. I've got the makings of it, just haven't sat down to write that first page. One day. Anyway, enough about me. Back to you, Martin.
No, it's all good. It's all good to know.
So Charles would like to know, he says he's from an ageing demographic, and he would like to know how you think Lincoln City Foundation can increase its offering to the ageing population of Lincolnshire.
Well, we're all getting older, aren't we? I'm not saying specifically.
What? That's news to me.
I mean, joking aside, I mean, Lincolnshire and Lincoln has got a lot of people who are like, you'd maybe call it an ageing demographic. I'm not sure it's quite a term in day-to-day conversation, is it? But there are a lot of older people, and particularly out towards the coast in Lincolnshire as well. It's well known, maybe before Skegness, there's a lot of older people. The foundation already does some great stuff. We have walking football, we have walking groups, we have community volunteering, and we just know that a lot of people who come to the club and have done for years and years like to get involved with some of the stuff that we're running down at the foundation as well. What I'd like to see more of is where we have a real positive impact on people's well-being, like their health. That's something that I think can tie those two things together. So somebody who's maybe later life who would really get benefit physically or mentally from getting involved with something that gives them a bit of a boost. So I think those are the sort of things we should and will be getting involved with more and more, but there's stuff already happening, so check the website.
Yes, check the website. It's lincolncityfoundation.com, by the way. This is an interesting one, and this is probably one that I suspect you might get asked quite a bit because we get asked it all the time. So prepare your answer now. So this is from Claire. Claire says, my son trains in your development centres, and what she wants to know is, what is the difference between the club and the foundation?
Oh, it's a really good question. And so we're all under the same badge. We wear an imp on our top, as does the club. We're based at Sinsel Bank together. We all want the club to do well. We want the people who associate with the club and come and see it and get involved to be successful, happy, healthy, inspired people, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of similarities, but fundamentally the foundation is a charity which is attached to the club. So the club is in itself sports business, and we'll have an attachment to an academy, and it's all about winning on the field and the associated benefits that brings to the city and the regional economy. We as a charity are very much associated with that, but we'll run those programmes that are more of a charitable aim. So education, the employability, the walking football, the walking cricket, health and wellbeing, others are available. And I just think it's really difficult to explain. So I know my mum and dad, they don't say Martin works at the foundation, I say Martin works at the football club. Because I do, I work at Sinsel Bank. So in some ways it's not so important, but it's just that we are the charity and we have our own governance and we have our own board and trustees, and the club has its own board. So we work very closely.
Great answer.
Is that about right?
You did get that one right. And last question, last question for the public, because you've not got over mine and Hannah's questions yet, and they are much worse.
Brace yourself.
Ben, age 8, this is from, and he wants to know who your favourite Lincoln City player is.
Well, that's a really
That's maybe the hardest question you've been asked.
That's a really hard one. I think like Liam Bridcut as the captain, fantastic season last year, really friendly. I went up to the performance centre the other day, and he sort of came along and said hello and took some time out. And Anthony Scully as well, I name dropped to him because he's the smiliest man I've ever seen.
I have met Anthony Scully because we've been out on a few outreach stuff with us, and he is lovely. I can vouch for that. He's really lovely.
But all the guys have been fantastic. Whenever I've sort of been around and seen them and waved hello, they're such a friendly group of players. I don't want to name drop everybody, but they're all fantastic. They get our full support from the foundation.
So if you listen to this, you haven't been mentioned. That was a blanket one.
But going back in the day, it used to be sort of a running joke, but there's some amazing players who've been at Lincoln over the years, like Yeo, and recently like Matt Reed, those iconic players. It's so good, isn't it? And a great question to get from a young person, because I remember coming to games in the days, Jason Lee, and it was just like, I name dropped him earlier, didn't I? But you sort of, they stick with you, the people you know and you sort of associate with. And actually there's a serious point to this, which is that obviously we'd love to do, and we do a lot of work with the players, and we'd love to continue that and sort of see what we can do together more and more. So watch this.
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic, great answer. Great answers, Martin. So you've passed the test of the public, but now you've got to pass the Lizi and Hanna test. And these are a bit mental, so...
These are the important questions.
Okay.
These are the ones we're going to judge you on.
Okay.
We don't want to judge you. No judgment.
So we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
And the game is What If? Literally, as soon as something comes to mind, just blurt it out, verbal diarrhea, okay? So, what if you had a superpower, what would it be?
I don't know, flying maybe. I'd like to fly around, because I like, everything I did mention, I like bird watching. I'm really interested in nature. It'd be quite good to sort of go out and see what the swifts are doing above Sinsel Bank.
Bird's eye view.
Bird's eye view, yeah.
Bird's eye view with the birds. See what I did.
With you.
Right, so what if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, where I live currently, actually, because I've just moved in and I don't ever want to move again. However, yeah, we live just outside Lincoln, so we love Lincoln. But, you know, Hawaii would be nice.
Yeah,
it's a second choice, Lincoln or Hawaii.
Two very different places.
One of the two. Come on.
So, what if you could create a new sport or new rules to a sport? What would it be?
What would it be? Well, Quidditch has been invented, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Haven't we done some Quidditch training?
Yeah.
With broomsticks and everything.
Yeah. It was so much fun.
I just took the pictures.
So, I'm trying to think. Well, I suppose if it was a sport that could be easily invented, someone would have done it already, right?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can't.
Maybe it's an adaptation of a sport.
Yeah, you could adapt.
You could amalgamate them together.
Cricket golf, then.
Cricket golf.
So, yeah. So basically, someone bowls the ball and you have to smash it down. If you miss it, you go backwards, you lose a shot. Yeah. And eventually, you've got to knock it in with a forward defensive into the hole.
That sounds like a good game. Yeah, let's get it in.
Yeah.
Would you call it cricket golf? Because obviously there's an amalgamation between football and golf, and that's foot golf, isn't it?
I'd call it cricket.
Cricket. Yes. I'm on board now.
Training day.
Cricket.
I did used to play shoe golf actually, but that's a different story. It's that you could kick the shoe down a road closest to a lamppost when you were a kid. Did you ever play that? You'd set a lamppost like miles away, and then you get the shoe. It's not mum didn't like it though.
Yeah, that's because you have to keep buying shoes.
You set your shoe on under your toe and you fling it as far as you could down until you got it to touch the lamppost. Not good in a crowded area.
No.
I'm not saying anyone should do this, but shoe golf.
I mean, I sort of want to play it now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Next team
training day.
We're going to play cricket and shoe golf.
And I'm going to throw in there sock wrestling.
Sock wrestling.
Okay, sock wrestling is an amazing spot, but you've got to do it with clean socks on, because otherwise it's a bit grim. And you literally, it's a bit like with your shoes, like you literally put your sock over something over the end of your toes. If you've got a foot problem, you're not going to want to play this. And then you wrestle. But the aim is to get the sock or tag or whatever it is off the other person.
I'm not sure this is COVID safe at the
Different.
moment. Shoe golf, you're fine.
Yeah, you're away from
This
people.
is an imaginary world.
Yeah.
There's no COVID in this world.
Tables, let's play. Okay, so last two from me. What if you could live in any time period? Where would it be?
Well, I'm always really interested by the Romans. Like the fact that in Lincoln, genuinely, when you're walking around as a kid, it's like, there's a big bit of Roman wall. Or, you know, there's pillars like embedded into the roads. Right? You think, and then it actually suddenly hit me one day. I was like, if you came to Lincoln 2,000 years ago, it wouldn't be us, it would have been like Roman soldiers. And they weren't just like Italian, it was like people from Croatia and Spain and Northern Africa. It was a different city, but it was their city. Yeah. I think that's fascinating. I'd love to have seen that, actually.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Romans. Good time.
Yeah, good time, good choice.
Good
right.
times.
Well, maybe not for the people who've got like plague and stuff. Where's the plague?
Well, we did have this discussion actually, because when we were thinking if you pick the time period that you want to go back in time in, you do have to take on all the issues and stuff then, because I really quite like the Regency era and stuff like that. However, women equality was not a thing.
Lice in your wigs.
Yeah, and obviously, are you going back with what you know now and how like the world should be, and you're going back then, or are you going back without the knowledge of the future?
I don't know which one's worse. Because imagine if you were stuck there and you knew things could be better, and you knew, but if you knew of inventions and stuff.
Can't you just Google it?
Go to Regency era, but with your iPhone. You'd be
you'd be shouted down as a witch or something.
You'd be able to charge it as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You get a good couple of days after it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know, because we spoke about that, didn't we, before? Like if you didn't know about women equality, people were raised that way, and that's how they felt it should be. And some people wanted to change and things like that. But mainly, if you brought up in that society. Yeah. That's how you think it should be.
That's still the same case today, isn't it? I mean, the amount of things we think about, and you suddenly, like, with the Black Lives Matter thing, that really sort of tough last year, and it was sort of people suddenly going, this is not right. And obviously it's not right, and people knew things were wrong, but all of a sudden it sort of catches that movement. And I often think, what we're going to look back in 50 years ago, oh my goodness, we did that.
I say that all the time. When we watch Call the Midwife, and you watch some things like that, you when the doctor's smoking over all the patients, and everyone's sat there going, why would anyone ever think that was okay? And I always wonder now, what are we doing right now that in 50 years time someone's going to watch, this is like a old period drama type thing, where they're watching our thing, where they're like, as if they didn't realise that was horrific. Like, that's clearly bad. Like, what is it that we're doing now?
There's so many things, I'm sure we'll get a look back, and it's whether you're in the time or it's wrong fundamentally, and I think it's really it's a challenge for society to really unpick itself and work out. But joking aside again, I think the foundation's a lot of really good stuff and is really open-minded and really inclusive, and I think that's all positive. And society at the foundation, it's where we really want it to be, isn't it? Like, where everyone is welcome and you can come along and you can participate, but it's good for growth and development, and that's a really positive thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, random question till today, sorry.
Last question. What if you could relive a fashion trend? What would it be?
I don't know. I used to have some flares when I was a student. they weren't even original then, you know. Well, not that old. But maybe that's the 70s collar and the flares. It was quite cool.
Flares come in fits and spades, don't they? There was in the 90s we had some really big flares.
Yeah,
the problem was it drew a lot of puddle water up, if I remember. You could be walking around with the flares, but then you had a lot of rain. You got heavier as the day went on. You're just dragging around a lot of puddle water.
You get the capillary action in your knees or whatever for no reason.
So we're bringing back soggy knees.
You heard it here first. Right,
okay, so mine is a very quick either or. So you've got clear your mind, and that's really fast. If you've watched Friends, Phoebe does this.
Watch Friends?
Have you watched Friends? Oh, I see what you've done there. I see what you did there. Oh, it's been a long day, mine. But Phoebe does it to Ross, and that to help him try and figure out a decision. So. This is it. So clear your mind. You'll find out when you get to the last one.
Okay, I'm going to stay relaxed.
Okay.
Relaxation.
Ready?
Yeah.
Scone or scone?
Like scone.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Football or rugby?
Football.
Staycation or vacation?
Vacation if possible.
Jam and cream or cream then jam?
It's jam and cream, obviously.
Thank you very much. Dogs or cats?
Cats, we have a cat. I have to say that.
Lincolnshire or Yorkshire?
What? I don't think you've asked me that. Obviously Lincolnshire. It's the proper camp.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Hannah's eyes.
Absolutely.
I'm in the same room, I could get hit.
You've actually already answered this one, but it might have changed. Would you rather fly or be invisible?
Yeah, no, I'd still rather fly, I think, yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Oh, good question. Tea, I think.
Tea.
Ultimately, yes. Tea.
Pool or beach?
Beach.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Lizi or Hanna?
Can't answer that. It's too hard.
I liked how you picked up the tempo. Just
I knew he was going to do that.
Even with an empty mind.
You can't trick him, Lizzie.
No, we tried really hard.
You might be able to. You might. But just not that. Not yet. I was on my guard.
Okay, so our last question is actually the question that we ask all of anyone who comes onto this podcast, anyone at all. And sometimes we give people the option to prep. You'd think with you being our boss, I would have given you the option to prep, but I forgot.
She always does.
But it's fine. So it's a really good question we find to give us insight into the person and how they tick. So the question, Martin, is this. If you were to have a dinner party and you could invite 3 people, alive or dead, who would they be and why?
That is a really good question. I really wish you'd given me some. So I'm just wondering about this one, because obviously there's a really serious answer you can give. So there's historical people, and you're like, oh, it'd be amazing if you could meet with somebody from the past and bring them back. But do you know what? If it's a dinner party, I don't think you get maximum value from that. I think we should go.
I like how much thought you're giving this.
I give it a lot of thought. It's almost like you've cut out a pause or something. That has in no way happened. And so I'm thinking, what you could do a lot worse than just invite some really fun people in. and just have a really good time.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
There's two kinds of people. There's the fun people in there who answer this question in a fun way, or there is the, no, I'm going to go down and these people will get on with each other and stuff like that. But
I do like to think about who with mine who will go on with each other. But you can also, some people have answered in a family way, some people have answered about they want to learn things from history that they didn't know. So, like, I'd quite like to know what happened to the two princes in the tower, so I might invite someone there that will tell me about that, because it's like a mystery from the past. And some people have just gone with the famous people that they'd just really like to meet. So,
or the controversial ones that would argue and then you just sit back and watch.
Oh, that was I can't remember who said that, but that was
people in a room would absolutely kick off.
Yeah, I can't remember who said that, but they had Henry VIII and
Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn, and we were like, oh, who's the third?
Who are you going to throw in the middle of that?
So that was good. So who are your exact three?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should maybe go for a sporting.
So who you want to meet? Who you want to sit down
Well, I
with?
think, wouldn't it be fun if you had like Ian Botham and Gazza?
Yes.
I feel tough enough. Something like that. Just like people who just have a really good fun time with. But the interesting thing is, would it be them as they are now or them as they were? Because that's a different thing as well.
I guess it's up to you.
If you could have Henry VIII as like an 18-year-old, it'd be very different to who he was when he was 45. You know what I mean? Like, this catch him at the right time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, this is very much, it's beyond the realms of your imagination, so you can invite them in whatever time that you like, or whatever age.
My imagination's not that good under stress. I'm thinking on the spot. If you give me a couple of hours, I think just like the sporting thing for me, obviously there is the family angle as well. And if I was being serious, I'd probably think, do you know what, I'd love to spend time with my grandparents again. Because all of them passed away years ago. And just to spend a bit of time with them, actually. Now I'm an adult, acting a bit more like an adult. It would be really amazing to sit down and just have a chat to them and listen. So that's my serious answer. Yeah. And my jokey answer is probably just a bit of a sporting bantery thing, which I think would be great fun.
It would be great. What would you feed them?
What? My grandparents?
No, the sporting one.
Well, shredded wheat, obviously. Very both of them. And there'll be a lot of red wine. So that's it, really. I mean, shredded wheat and red wine.
Yeah.
That's a great dinner. Okay, I think we've learned a lot about you.
Yeah. I think I've learned a lot myself as well.
It has been great to. This is interesting usually, because when we wrap this up, we used to say it's great to have you on. Is there anything else that now's your time to promote what you do to the people of Lincolnshire? I feel like even though we all work for the same place, I feel like I need to give you the same opportunity. So very good to have you on. It's been great to get to know you a little bit more as well. Great for everyone else to get to know you a little bit more. But here is your slot. Tell us what you want the people of Lincolnshire to know.
Well, I'd just like to keep encouraging people to connect with us, really. That's the main thing at the foundation, whether it's on the football development side or the education, get in touch. It's all about partnership and working together and pushing forward the aims of the foundation, which are pretty much good stuff to happen for the community and the city anyway. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. So just get in touch, keep in touch, and we'd love to chat to you. That's it, really. That's all I can say. And don't forget that website. www.lincolncityfoundation.com. The link will be in the description. It's almost like you work in marketing. Always ready with that website. Thanks, guys. That was a very interesting experience. Okay, that is everything that we've got time for. Did you enjoy interviewing Martin?
I did, yeah. I was a little bit nervous at first because I thought I'm going to lose my job, but actually he was a very good sport. And listeners, you'll be glad to know that we are still employed, so far anyway. So there should be another Lincolnshire Buzzcast coming your way in a fortnight. So if you want to listen to that, please do remember to subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when you come across. If you've got anything that you want to ask us, any clarifications, if we've said anything wrong, which we probably will have done, you might want to say, hey, Lizi or Hannah, think you find netball has been in the Olympics, and it was this and this, then do feel free to send them in as well. So you send them into marketing@lincolncityfoundation.co.uk. It's been great to have you. Please remember to like and subscribe. Laters. Bye.